how you doing? It's me, Nomad here, and I want to talk today about rent and how did rent get normalized. I've done a lot of videos on rent. It's just annoying to me, rent, And so, when did that happen? Like, how did that happen? Like, people think that's normal. That is not normal. Like, so I'll give you an example. If I said, hey, should you buy a car or rent a car, like for long-term use, like for a year? Most people would say, oh, you should buy a car. You shouldn't rent a car for a year. Something I did almost myself. I rented a car for like 6 months at this job anyway. Of course you wouldn't rent a car, you buy a car. But why is it that people think, oh, well, I need a place to live, I need to rent long term? Like, it's just as bad, if not worse. Because now it's your living place. And why? Because we got to be comfortable. You got to have the what do they say, the lifestyle you deserve. God, no. That it's all a lie and a scam. And I guess we all believed it because it looked like the economy was going up and up, and you think, well, I'm in an apartment now, but eventually I'll get a house. Eventually, we all bought into that freaking capitalist propaganda until the whole COVID pulled the rug out from under us, and now people are it's like the music stopped and everyone's like, it's like Monopoly. And everyone's about to go bankrupt. So, no, it's a bad thing. And sure, if you're on vacation or something and you're, fine, or I don't know, even if you're a college student, you rationalize it. Well, I'll borrow money, or I can afford. I have scholarships, whatever. I'm going to rent the student housing. Even then, I don't know, because you want to focus on studies, not think about it. But the school is taking full advantage of that. They're going to charge you a ton of money. All the land, like I'm near USC, right? All the landlords around here, like they're just like sharks, ready to jump on these kids. Like, oh, gotcha, God, LA is such an exploitive city, which is where I'm at. So, I don't know. I just want to talk about that. Like, when did rent get normalized? Like, when did that happen? I know there must have been a time when, like, people didn't rent. They had to build a house. Usually there was a village, and everyone came together, and we, together. The Amish supposedly do this, and I know some native, or what do you call them? Indigenous people still do that. They help each other build a house. And, we look down on people in those countries like Peru or Papua New Guinea. They live in those shacks. Well, at least they got a shack and they own it. Like, you ain't got nothing. Yeah, you're in some fancy luxury apartment paying $2,500 a month, but it ain't yours. Like, at least they own it. They own it. So, they could own the land, start with a shack, and expand from there. Like, I guess I'm just complaining right now. But it's something I want you to think about, like how rent has been normalized, and it just doesn't dawn on us. Like, people just think, oh, how am I going to pay the rent? Like, oh, how am I going to pay the rent? You know where this freaking started? And I'll see if I can find this clip. I don't recommend this movie. It's called Barbarians. It's on Netflix. It's a very, like, brutal, horrible. Don't watch it with your kids. I don't even watch it because I don't like my vibration being lowered like that with all that ultra gory violence. But basically it was about like some Germanic tribes, and then the Romans came, and they're living this idyllic life in their little village, right? They own it. It's their village. They have a little king. And then the Romans come and are like, you have to pay tribute, which is rent, basically. They're like, we're going to come back in a month, and you better have our tribute, our rent, or we're going to, like, kill you. And so they were freaking out. They're like, oh my God, what are we going to do? And that's kind of where it began. There was lots of little tribes, and then one tribe got stronger than the others and basically showed up and demanded rent. And then in England, I think, and Japan, it became feudalism, and it became institutionalized. And then, like, whoever knew the king, or the king would appoint a lord to be over a certain area, and the lord would get some of the rent and the rest would go to the king. But eventually they came to America because they were sick of that crap, and then they were like, now anyone can be a landowner. Then they kicked the Native Americans out, and then they claimed huge swaths of land, and then they started renting it out. But in America, you can buy yourself into the aristocracy. So that's what we do here. And now it's normal. It's totally normal for someone like a doctor or a lawyer who has extra money to go buy 3, 4, 5, 10, 100, 1,000 properties or an apartment or apartments, and then rent them out to people who can't afford to do that, and people making less, and just basically bleed off of those freaking people. And then we just think that's normal. That's just totally normal. That is wrong. Like, it's just wrong. Like, it's wrong that someone would be freaking paying for an apartment for 20 years and have no ownership and could be evicted. Like, it's just something to think about. Like, this system is not sustainable like that. It's like a pyramid, and it's just designed, our system in America is just designed to just percolate wealth up to the top, through these corporations and through rent and mortgages and debt. And that's how it's done. But it's not normal. So I'm here to tell you that it's not normal. Stop thinking of rent as normal. Stop thinking of debt as normal. You don't have to do those things. Yes, it's going to be harder. It's going to be harder if you can't borrow money or don't borrow money, or if you're not paying rent. It's going to be harder. You might have to start in a much smaller way. But that's okay, because then you'll have good money math. You might start with a little car and live in your car, or live in an RV, and then buy some land. You can get land for $1,500 at the auction. I was looking it up the other day. Just Google LA County auction. They actually have the tax auction, and there's plots of land for $1,500. I don't know anything about it. I don't know what that means. But considering I don't own any land right now, whatever plot would be fine. But that's just something to think about. 1 month's rent could buy you a little lot of land, maybe an acre, half an acre, somewhere in LA County, one of the most expensive places in the world. So imagine wherever you live, it's probably even cheaper. I mean, you just have to shift your mentality from I'm a consumer, renter, debtor, to I'm an owner, I own something. I mean, that's the natural way. That rent thing is not natural. That's a scam that started when those first powerful tribes, be it the Aztecs, or who was it, the Mayans, or whoever they were, or the whoever, in Japan, whoever. I mean, that's where that began. That is not natural, and it's still that way now. It's just bias. It's like landowners rule LA, landowners rule America. You've got to own something here, to get ahead, period. And you don't have to be, it's like Monopoly. You don't have to be paying them rent just because they own. You can just say no. Now, you'll have to sacrifice your comfort and stuff, but I guess it's what do you want, right? You want to be an indentured servant and be comfortable, or do you want to actually own something and build some wealth and be uncomfortable? Or rather, you want to be uncomfortable. Okay, however I said it. You know what I'm saying. So, anyway, but that's all I wanted to say. Let me know what you think. What do you think about all this? It's all coming to a head, isn't it? We're all seeing it now. And why is it someone like freaking Jared Kushner? I heard he owns 3,000 apartments. Why? For what? Why? Why should one person own that many apartments? It's like slaves. God dang. It was crazy. Why would we have a system like that? In Singapore, they have public housing. 80% of the people live in public housing. There's not the stigma like it is here about public housing. But over in Singapore, 80% of the people live in public housing, and they own it. So, they have a policy. They want most of their citizens to own property. Everyone. So that's the way it works. And only 20% is market rate. Look it up. So Singapore is a pretty interesting case. So that's it. Let me know what you think. Talk to you later.